The drizzle over South Bank, London, painted the pavements silver. Every step sounded like a whisper of someone hurrying home. Except for Eli, who had nowhere left to go. That he was 17, thin from nights without shelter, with a backpack that had seen more rain than roofs. His fingers were buried deep in the pockets of an oversized coat someone had once thrown away. The morning was gray. And so was life for Eli. He'd slept beneath the Waterloo Bridge, curling up beside the low hum of passing trains. The smell of damp cardboard clung to him, but he didn't care. The only warmth he knew came from the styrofoam cup of tea he bought each morning at the same cafe on the corner. 2 sugars, please, he always said, with a polite smile too old for his age. Inside, the barista, Claire, knew him now. "Mornin', love." "Same again." Eli nodded, sliding a few coins across the counter. Coins he'd earned by carrying boxes for a fruit seller. Through the cafe window, he watched the city rush by, people in suits, umbrellas bobbing like black waves. He didn't envy them. He just wondered what it would feel like to have somewhere to be. Then a sudden screech of tires broke the morning calm. Outside, a black Bentley had rolled to a stop, steam spilling from its bonnet. A man in an immaculate navy suit stepped out, clearly frustrated, bloody brilliant. Of all days, he muttered. Eli's gaze lingered. He'd seen that type before, confident, distant, untouchable. Yet something in the man's face, the helplessness, made Eli step forward. He set his tea down and walked into the drizzle. "Sir," he said softly. The man turned. "Yes. I think your radiator hoses come loose," Eli said, glancing under the bonnet. "I can fix it." The man hesitated, scanning Eli's ragged coat, then sighed. "Be my guest." Eli leaned in, his father's lessons returning like echoes. With the edge of a coin, he tightened the clamp, wiping the mist from his hands. "Try it now," he said. The man turned the key. The engine purred. "Well, I'll be damned," the man said, smiling for the first time. "What's your name?" "Eli. I'm Richard Graves." He reached into his pocket, offering notes. Eli shook his head. "No, sir. Just happy to help." Richard blinked. "You don't want money?" Eli smiled faintly. "I just don't like seeing good cars in pain." Richard laughed. "You're a strange one, Eli." The rain thickened. Richard looked at him, a boy soaked to the bone, yet still smiling. "You eaten?" Eli hesitated. "Come on," Richard said. "Breakfast's on me." And as they walked into the cafe together, one man in a 1,000-pound suit, one boy with nothing but kindness, the city outside kept rushing by, unaware that 2 lives had just shifted course. The warmth inside the cafe felt unreal to Eli. Toasted bread, coffee steam, quiet laughter, a world apart from the bridge. Richard ordered 2 full breakfasts. "Eat, lad," he said kindly. "You've earned it." Eli hesitated, then nodded, digging in with quiet gratitude. Richard watched, not with pity, but with recognition. "So," Richard said, "where's your family?" Eli's fork paused. "It was just me and Dad. He passed last winter." Richard's face softened. "I'm sorry." Eli shrugged. "Not your fault. Just life, I guess." They spoke for nearly an hour. Cars, music, small joys. Richard learned Eli used to help his father fix old engines in their flat courtyard. Eli learned Richard owned Graves Motors, one of the biggest luxury car brands in the country. When they finished, Richard said, "I could use someone like you at the workshop." "Week's trial?" Eli's eyes widened. "You mean a job?" Richard smiled. "Let's call it a start." The next morning, Eli arrived early, his coat still damp. The mechanics eyed him warily. "Who's the new kid?" one asked. Richard stepped out of his office. "This is Eli. Treat him like family." At first, they didn't. But by midday, silence turned to surprise. When the senior mechanic couldn't find a misfire, Eli leaned in, listened once, and adjusted a single valve. The engine hummed perfectly. "Blimey," one muttered. "Kid's got magic hands." By Friday, even the skeptics were smiling. That evening, Richard called him in. "You've done well. Let's make this permanent." Eli blinked back tears. "You mean it?" Richard nodded. "Welcome to Graves Motors." Weeks passed. Eli became part of the team. Humble, tireless, curious. But one night, a brief shadow crossed their bond. A new intern, Lucas, sneered. "Funny, isn't it? A homeless kid playing mechanic. Don't think the boss knows who he's letting in." Eli bit back a reply. Later that night, he packed his bag quietly, ready to leave, until Richard's voice stopped him. Going somewhere? Eli froze. Didn't mean to cause trouble, sir. Richard sighed. You think I care what Lucas says? Let me tell you something. I started sweeping floors before I owned this place. Eli looked up, stunned. Richard continued. People like us, we don't run from what we've been through. We build from it. Eli nodded slowly. Yes, sir. Good. Now get some rest. You've got a bright morning ahead. That night, Eli didn't sleep under a bridge for the first time in weeks. He slept in the workshop, curled under a blanket Richard had left on the bench. The next evening, as Eli walked home, he passed the same bridge and found an old man shivering beneath it. He handed over his meal without hesitation. Why help me? The man rasped. Eli smiled. Because someone helped me first. Unseen, Richard watched from his car, eyes glistening. He whispered, You're something rare, lad. Days later, the morning sun painted South London gold. But inside Richard's glass office, the air was tense. Two men in suits spoke urgently. Mr. Graves, the board insists you name a successor, one said. I have, Richard replied. It's Eli Thompson. The men exchanged looks. He's not family. Richard's tone softened. He is now. When they left, Eli stood by the door, frozen. Richard smiled. Come in, son. Eli stepped forward, uncertain. I've got something for you, Richard said, handing him an envelope. Eli opened it. Keys and a tenancy paper. It's a small flat near Brixton, Richard said. Yours for a year. You've earned it. Eli shook his head, overwhelmed. I can't accept this. You can, Richard said gently. Because when I was your age, someone did the same for me. Then he slid another folder across the table. An apprenticeship contract. You'll study engineering. I'll pay your tuition. You'll still work here part-time. Eli's voice cracked. Why me? Richard smiled. Because when you helped me that morning, you didn't see wealth. You saw a person. And the world needs more of that. That weekend, at the Graves Motors Charity Gala, Richard did something he'd never done before. Invited a guest who wasn't from his world. When he took the stage, the crowd waited for the usual speech. Instead, he gestured toward the back. This young man reminded me that decency isn't inherited, it's chosen. Meet Eli Thompson, our newest apprentice. Applause filled the hall. Eli's cheeks flushed red. Richard leaned down and whispered, Your family now, son. Months later, Eli moved into his flat, small, bright, filled with second-hand furniture and quiet pride. Each morning, he passed the bridge where he once slept and left a sandwich there. A thank you to the boy he used to be. One rainy afternoon, he found the old man again, healthier now. You again, the man said, smiling. Still helping strangers? Eli chuckled. Guess I learned from the best. As he walked away, city lights shimmered across wet streets, turning puddles into mirrors. In one of them, he saw not the lost boy, but the man he was becoming. And in the workshop window across the street, Richard watched silently, smiling to himself. Moral, true wealth isn't what you own, it's what you give back.